Hello, John Corbett. We are starting over in the next question. What was your relationship like with your parents?
Extremely good. Both my mother and my father were Christians. They were very kind, and my mother thought I hung the moon.
Was there anyone in your life as a young person that made a difference in your life?
John Tippett.
Well, yeah, my brother John Tippett, my pastor, and also brother
Lynn Turner.
Lynn Turner made an extreme difference.
How did they make a difference in your life?
The messages they brought and their love for fellow Christians.
How about when you were a young boy? Was there anybody in your life that made a difference?
Well, I guess the only one that I can really remember that, of course, they didn't make an impression on me, but I used to work on the bread truck, and Mr. Was it Hall? Hall. And I guess I was about 12 years old, and we'd go out in West Savannah and put bread and cakes in front of the store, then go on over to South Carolina, and he would sit in the driver's seat of the truck, and I would drive the truck while he took a nap, and he said, if you see a police, wake me up. But anyway, we'd come back through West Savannah that afternoon and collect for everything we had put out. Nothing was ever missing.
Tell me a story about high school and the years around high school.
Well, I was in commercial high school and in the ROTC, and I was a first lieutenant, and I enjoyed marching and drilling.
Did you have a lot of friends in high school?
Well, all of them in my class were my friends.
Do you remember any
I
of
guess
them?
20 or 30, yes. I remember quite a few of them, but I don't have to name them now.
You're all gone.
One of them was my old girlfriend, of course,
Who was that?
Miss Virginia Smith.
Oh. So when did you come to know Jesus as your Savior?
Well, I accepted the Lord when I was 15 years old.
Where were you?
Calvary Baptist Temple.
Were you in a church service?
Church service, yes.
Okay. You went off to war at a young age. Tell me about that time in your life when you went off to war.
Well, we had a training course out in Colorado at Colorado State College in Greeley. We took a training course, and after the training course was over, they needed 5 people for overseas training, and I was the first one that was chosen. They took those 5, and the other 45 came to the Hunter Army Airfield at Savannah, Georgia.
And so you went where?
I took overseas
Overseas,
training.
and they came to Savannah.
Yes.
Oh, goodness. Okay. After you got out of the service, what did you do?
Went back to work for the railroad, and I joined the Solomon's Lodge, Free and Accepted Masons, and that was when I was, well, right after I returned. So I've been in the lodge for over 60 years, or a member.
So how was the war for you? What was it like for you?
Well, I was extremely fortunate because I was assigned to 8th Air Force Headquarters, and the only threats that I faced were buzz bombs or ballistic missiles. Other kinds of missiles they sent over every night, mostly in London though, and they bombed London every night or every night, and we would get one occasionally.
Did you stay in London the whole time you were in the service?
I stayed in High Wycombe, which was about 23 miles from London, and the headquarters there was General Doolittle was there, and he was in charge of the 8th Air Force.
Well, tell me, when did you meet Grandma?
Oh, I met her at church. We'd seen each other at church before, and she had seen me in various places, and she desired to meet me, and I desired to meet her. So two friends of ours introduced us to each other, and she said immediately, "Oh, I know him."
How old were you?
Oh, I can't remember. Let's see.
29.
How many?
29.
My wife tells me I was 29. I don't believe I got married a year after, but I must have.
Well, is there a moment in your life that is the most memorable? Anything that happened in your life that made a difference in your life or that you remember vividly?
I don't remember anything.
How about childhood memories?
No, nothing that I can remember that had a terrific difference in my life except when I became a deacon, which was very enjoyable and helped make a lot of decisions concerning our church. And then when we moved on to Crofton, I was in charge of the deacons there because they didn't know what a Baptist was. Most of them were different denominations that worked for the government.
Well, tell us, you almost left us a couple of weeks ago. What all were you thinking about when you were so sick?
I was not thinking about anything. I was too sick to think about anything. But everybody I came in contact with was extremely pleasant, helpful, informative. And when I went through the rehab place, they were extremely helpful, informal, and the nurses told me that when I got home, I would be able to do the same things I did before I left home, and I did not believe them, but I find out now that I can probably do just exactly what I did before, except that I'll be on oxygen, which is not bad.
Nope.
And I'm not crippled in any way, so I could just live an enjoyable life with my family.
Okay, and he said, Jason says, I asked you before, and I want to ask you again. What do you want to be known for, and how do you want to be remembered?
That will be in my next presentation. I'm going to
do that later.
Do that later, and you can believe every word of it and type it and send it to my 3 girls so they will know.
Okay. Well, we thank you very much for this interview.
And I'm glad to have been with you.
Thank you. I'm glad you are here too.
Thank you, and I love you.
Love you too. Goodbye.